Steve's over here going to tell us who you are. I'm Karen Crumpton. I'm Jim's middle child, second daughter. And I want to thank all of you for coming here today. This is exactly what Dad would have wanted. Stories, he always said that, funny stories. And Dad was irreverent. He had a deep love for Jesus and the Lord, and yet he could be so irreverent, and it was usually stemmed from him wanting to have a good time. I cannot tell you how many times I had sat in church beside Mom, in between Mom and Dad, and I don't know where you two were, but and having him make me laugh in the middle of church, and having Mom poke me from the other side and say, "If you two don't quit it, I don't know what it was. He'd get me in trouble all the time. But I have so many memories of funny stories of the trio. And where'd you go, Rose? Rose. He loved to listen to you girls sing. And I'm Facebook friends with Penny. You know, I post pictures of sunsets. I live on Maui now, and Penny's response is usually, "I hate you." That's it. Love you, Karen. Hate you. I guess I wrote just a couple of words down, and Scott, who couldn't be here today, sent me something to read last night, so I'm going to do that. But he loved all of you very much, and I guess what I remember the most about Dad is seeing him have, when we were little, I don't remember spending a ton of time with him. I don't. He was on the track a lot. He would never miss a good track meet, ever, if he could help it. And so I remember spending a lot of time with him when we were older and traveled a lot, but I remember holding his hand from the time I was super little and until always, you know. I remember that, and I remember watching him pull prank after prank. We'd be on campus, either here or at SCC, and I would happen upon him pulling pranks. So I remember that side of it too. I remember him yelling at me, thinking I was another kid, to hold the elevator door open while him and one of his athletes were hosing down a girl literally with a fire extinguisher at SCC. So that was Dad. Dad loved to laugh. So anyway, I wrote this down. I think he would be really, really happy that it was held here in the chapel. This chapel means a lot to everybody in our family. And anybody who went here, really, it's a very, very special place. So this is what I wrote. I said, "This chapel is so special. I was dedicated here by Sister Dunbar, and so is our brother Shane, also by Sister Dunbar. I gave my heart to the Lord right over there. There's some pews there, at 7. And Dad loved this chapel and this school and all of you. We were only here for a very short time, but it's funny how there are small moments in time that impact your entire life. The time that we spent here, was one of those times. We've planted a tree and dedicated a bench here on campus in his memory. The plaque reads, "Only one life will soon be past, only what's done for Christ will last." And that's a plaque that Bob Schaefer had somewhere here on campus. Personally, my vote was for, "If your butt is on this bench, get back on the track." Dad would like that. But I was shot down. On behalf of Dad and our family, we want to thank you for honoring him here today. It means so much to us. Shane would have been here, but he is currently on a kibbutz in Israel. And Scott is leaving for Europe in a few days, and he was unable to attend, but he wanted us to read something. And Scott has also put together some pictures, which you're going to see in a few minutes, on YouTube, called Remembering Coach Crumpton. So here's what Scott wrote. Forgive me, I just got it, so it's on my phone. Who is Jim Crumpton? He was a son, a husband, a father, a coach, and a friend to many, but he didn't stop there. I watched my father befriend and encourage thousands of high school and college kids over the years. What did he give them? The understanding that someone out there actually cared even when they didn't think so. The understanding that they could do it if only they tried. The realization that they weren't alone. My father was the son of an alcoholic father and an overly religious mother who had no clue how to provide for him or raise him. He grew up in a single-parent family in a one-room trailer with paper-thin exterior walls, and he had nothing, and he was at times ashamed of it. He joined the Army and eventually obtained a college degree and teaching degree, which he put to good use, teaching history and coaching at the high school level. As a coach, he believed you got further with a pat on the back than a kick in the butt. Sorry, but that's a direct quote from Coach Crumpton. His team won races, meets, titles, and championships, and yet I never once heard him talk highly of himself as a coach, not once. Frustrated with having more bills than cash, my father saw an opportunity to help both himself and small Christian schools, so he took a chance and with zero experience running a business, created a multi-million-dollar company out of pretty much thin air and a lot of sweat. 3 years later, the company was bankrupt, my parents were separated, and he found himself sleeping on his daughter's couch and on unemployment for the first time in his life, something he wasn't proud of. But he pulled himself up by his bootstraps and created yet another company out of thin air, which was even more successful, put his family back together, and began traveling the world. His new company not only gave his family the opportunity of seeing the world, but also hundreds of coaches who'd never had opportunities like this before. And yet again, he never ran around claiming to be some great entrepreneur. His goals were simple: make money for yourself, provide for your family, and give your friends jobs. Probably one of the greatest life lessons I learned from watching my father is no matter how much your friends need help, don't hire them unless you don't value the friendship. His heart was always in the right place with this, but I know that several of you here today worked with my father at one point or another, and it may have turned sour. Please remember his heart was always in the right place, and those situations rarely work out. So what did my father give his children? Why, he taught us we could fly, that we could go anywhere, do anything, survive, and be happy. It was an incredible gift, and one which his 4 children have put to good use. Even as I write this, Karen has just flown in from Maui, where she lives. Sherry is flying in from Singapore, Shane's in Israel, and I'm flying out for Europe in a few days with my family. I'm not bragging, and none of us are rich. Our father simply taught us to never be afraid of what was over the horizon. Our father would have been proud, and I'll leave you with something he taught each of us. When we found ourselves unhappy in a job and went to Dad for counsel, he would always say, I was looking for a job when I found this one. That's true, I can remember that. The translation to each of you is simple. Follow your dreams, and when you doubt that they're impossible to achieve, remember my father and all he achieved in life, despite some very humble and troubled beginnings. Then again, maybe that's what motivated him. Know that he loved you all, much more than you could probably understand, but then again, maybe that's why you're all here today. God bless you all. Scott. Thank you for honoring Dad here today, and like I said, Dad lived a good, funny story, and so he would love hearing from all of you today. Thank you, Steve.